Hi everyone and welcome to the Economic Link. This time we'll take a good look at the auto industry. Worldwide, in 2017, about 97 million cars were sold, according to the OAAC, and yet more than 50% of those cars were produced by a handful of companies. In fact, 5 companies produced well over 46 million cars alone. Now, in economics, that's called an oligopoly, oligos meaning few, so there's a few producers that dominate the market. Now, one notable feature of the car market is that there's a lot of brands: Volkswagen, Ford, Audi, Renault, Lamborghini, Skoda, Toyota, and so on, but a lot of those brands are clustered together. So, who owns which brand? As of 2018, there's Volkswagen, they make obviously Volkswagen their name brand, Skoda, Seat, Audi, Lamborghini, Bentley, Porsche, and some commercial vehicle brands as well. Oh, and Bugatti! Toyota has their name brand, which produces the vast majority, and Lexus, as well as a 16% stake in Subaru. The Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi alliance, which was completed as of late 2017, had Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Dacia, Infiniti, and others. Ford does a lot of North American specific brands: Ford, Shelby, Lincoln, Mercury, though this one's discontinued, and used to, but either sold their stake or shuttered the brands, Volvo, Mazda, and Jaguar. General Motors does Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, and Holden. Used to have a big stake in Daewoo, so you might recognize the old Matiz round in developing markets as a Chevrolet. Then you have Fiat Chrysler, Abarth, Alfa Romeo, Fiat, Lancia, Chrysler, Dodge, Maserati, Jeep, and Ram. Used to have Ferrari until 2016, but then they left the conglomerate and did their own IPO. Hyundai has themselves, Genesis, and their competitor Kia. You know what they say, if you can't beat them, at least be represented among their shareholders. PSA has Peugeot, Citroën, and now Vauxhall and Opel. Vauxhall is what Opel cars are sold as in the UK. And then you've got your Daimlers and BMWs, Mazdas, and about a dozen Chinese, Indian, and Russian manufacturers, the last 3 of which tend to stick to their home markets. But the question remains, who dominates? Well, depending on how you count it, it looks like in 2017, the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi alliance might be the largest producer. Sure, add commercial vehicles and Volkswagen probably pulls out ahead. But Toyota's not too far behind. Overall, the Renault, Nissan, Mitsubishi alliance, let's just call it RNMA for short, produced around 11 million vehicles. Toyota around 11 as well, as Volkswagen not far behind either. And then Hyundai and GM just under 8 million each, Ford did around 6.5, Honda around 5, and then it's downhill from there. Between the top 3 producers, the concentration ratio, that is how much of the market they produce, is 31%. That's 1/3 of the market that's made up by just 3 producers. Look at the top 5 and it's around 47%. So how did these firms end up so large and so dominant? Well, you've got Toyota and Volkswagen focused on low cost and driving costs down. Toyota's production system and long planning horizons seems to have made them slow to respond to changes but very effective at delivering affordable cars, which at the end of the day shifts volume. Volkswagen as well, success with small cars has almost been their guiding light. First the Beetle in the 50s, defining a generation, then the Golf Mark I in the 80s, which I still see in some countries as a staple low-price car, and now the small cheap cars they sell in China help them capture 40% of the market there, which is remarkable given how many protections that market has. As for the others, Ford and GM have a distinct hold on the North American market, where they are originally from, and they make a lot of SUVs and pickup trucks which sell like hotcakes over there. As for financials, most, if not all, of the biggest producers have received government support in different forms, money or perhaps legislation or maybe protectionist measures. Some of those just happen to make more of an impact than others. Whether it was GM and the lobbying it did in establishing protectionist measures against cheaper and more fuel-efficient cars from Japan in the 80s, the 2009 government bailout, or perhaps Toyota being bailed out itself in 2009 by the Japanese government, all of these companies have received aid in one form or another. If I remember correctly, Volkswagen as well received assistance from the West German government in the early 70s. Either way, to the countries they hail from, most of these companies are badges of pride. Look at how big our companies are. But how these companies got so big and how they'll probably get bigger off developing markets and higher margin electric cars is another story. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up. Comment down below with your own opinion, and if you really love this kind of content, smash that subscribe button. See you next time. Ciao!